Hashtag echoes of silence. Hashtag chapter 1. The first glance. In the bustling streets of Eldridge City, where the skyline pierced the heavens like jagged dreams, Elena first saw him. It wasn't love at first sight, not the kind peddled in fairy tales, but something quieter, more insidious. A seed planted in fertile soil, destined to grow unchecked. Elena was 25, a graphic designer with a penchant for sketching forgotten corners of the city. Her apartment was a cluttered sanctuary of canvases and coffee stains, overlooking the river that divided the old town from the new. She had friends, a cat named Whiskers, and a life that on paper seemed complete. But there was a hollow space, an echo in her chest that whispered of more. Alex worked at the coffee shop downstairs, the one with the mismatched chairs and the aroma of fresh grounds that seeped into her dreams. He was 27, with tousled brown hair that fell just right over his forehead, and eyes the color of stormy seas. He smiled at everyone, but when he smiled at Elena, it felt like a secret shared between souls. "Morning, Elena," he'd say, sliding her usual latte across the counter. "Extra foam, just how you like it." She'd nod, her fingers brushing his accidentally, always accidentally, and feel a spark that lit her from within. "Thanks, Alex. Busy day ahead." "Always," he'd reply, his voice warm like sunlight on skin. But then he'd turn to the next customer, and the moment would shatter. It started innocently enough. Casual conversations turned into lingering chats. She learned he was an aspiring musician, strumming his guitar in parks on weekends. He learned she drew portraits of strangers, capturing their unspoken stories. They became friends, the kind who texted late at night about nothing and everything. But for Elena it was more. Every laugh, every shared glance, wove threads around her heart. She imagined futures. Walks along the river, his hand in hers, whispers in the dark. Unrequited. The word hadn't crossed her mind yet. Hope was a cruel companion. Hashtag chapter 2. Whispers in the wind. Months passed, seasons blurred. Spring brought blossoms to the city parks, where Elena and Alex would meet for picnics. He'd bring his guitar, she'd bring her sketchbook. They'd sit under the cherry trees, petals falling like confetti on their unspoken desires. "Tell me about your dreams," she said one afternoon, her pencil dancing across the page as she sketched his profile. He leaned back on his elbows, gazing at the sky. "I want to play in front of crowds, make music that moves people. What about you, El? What's your big dream?" "You," she thought, but said, "to have my art in a gallery someday. To touch hearts with lines on paper." He smiled that devastating smile. "You'll do it. You're amazing." Her heart soared, but then he'd mention her, Lila. Lila, with her golden hair and infectious laugh, Alex's on-again, off-again girlfriend from college. "Lila's coming to town next week," he'd say casually, as if it didn't twist a knife in Elena's chest. Lila was everything Elena wasn't. Bold, outgoing, the center of every room. Alex spoke of her with a fondness that bordered on reverence, even when they were off. Elena listened, nodding, her sketches growing darker, shadows creeping into the lines. One night, after a concert where Alex performed for a small crowd, they walked home together. The city lights reflected in puddles from a recent rain, turning the streets into a mirror of stars. "You were incredible up there," Elena said, her arm brushing his. "Thanks to you," he replied. "Your encouragement means everything." She stopped, heart pounding. "Alex, sigh." But a text buzzed on his phone. "Layla." "Hey, gotta take this," he said, stepping away. Elena watched him laugh into the receiver, his face illuminated by the screen. The wind whispered through the alleys, carrying away her unspoken words. Hashtag chapter 3. The weight of words. Summer heat enveloped the city like a smothering embrace. Elena's feelings had bloomed into a garden of thorns, beautiful yet painful. She avoided the coffee shop some days, claiming work, but the pull was too strong. Friends noticed. "You're in love with him, aren't you?" her best friend Mia asked over wine one evening. Elena swirled her glass, staring at the crimson liquid. Is it that obvious? To everyone but him, apparently. What do I do? Mia sighed. Tell him. Or let go. Unrequited love is a thief. It steals your joy. But telling him seemed impossible. What if it ruined their friendship? What if he pitied her? Fate or perhaps cruelty intervened. Lila moved back to Eldridge permanently. Alex announced it with joy, his eyes sparkling. We're giving it another shot. She's the one, El. I just know it. Elena forced a smile, her world crumbling. I'm happy for you. That night, alone in her apartment, she wept. Whiskers curled in her lap, a silent witness to her shattering heart. She sketched Alex one last time, but tore the page, scattering pieces like fallen leaves. ## Chapter 4. Fractured Reflections. Autumn arrived with a chill that matched Elena's soul. She distanced herself, excuses piling like discarded sketches. Alex noticed, texting. Miss our chats. Everything okay? Fine, she'd reply, lies typed with trembling fingers. One rainy evening, he showed up at her door, soaked and concerned. El, talk to me. What's going on? She let him in, the apartment dim save for a lamp casting long shadows. They sat on the couch, the space between them an ocean. I've been struggling, she admitted. With what? You can tell me anything. Her breath caught. The words tumbled out, unbidden. I'm in love with you, Alex. Have been for months. Seeing you with Lila. It hurts. Silence stretched, heavy as the rain outside. His face softened, not with joy but pity. El. Had no idea. You're my best friend. I care about you but not like that. Lila and I. We're building something real. She nodded, tears blurring her vision. I know. I just had to say it. He hugged her, a brotherly embrace that sealed the wound with salt. Don't let this change us, okay? But it did. Everything changed. ## Chapter 5. Echoes fading. Winter blanketed the city in snow, muffling the world's edges. Elena threw herself into her art, channeling pain into beauty. Her sketches evolved. Raw, emotional, capturing the essence of longing. Alex and Lila's relationship flourished. Posts on social media, a constant reminder. Elena unfollowed, focusing on healing. She met someone new, a fellow artist named Jordan, with kind eyes and a gentle spirit. It wasn't the fireworks of her love for Alex, but a steady flame, warm and real. One day, in a gallery showcasing her work, Alex appeared. These are incredible, El. You've captured everything. She smiled, genuine this time. Thanks. Life goes on. As he left, hand in hand with Lila, Elena felt the echoes fade. Unrequited love had been a storm, but she emerged stronger, her heart scarred but open to new horizons. In the quiet of the gallery, surrounded by her art, she whispered to the shadows. Goodbye. ## Epilogue. New beginnings. Years later, Elena looked back on that chapter as a pivotal one. It taught her the bittersweet truth. Love, even unreturned, shapes us. She married Jordan, had a child, and her art graced walls worldwide. Alex. He and Lila parted ways eventually, life pulling them apart. They remained friends, occasional messages bridging the gap. But Elena's heart was whole, the silence no longer an echo, but a peaceful hush. Love, she realized, was not possession, but the courage to feel deeply, even when it hurts. The end.